Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage. Hey, I'm seeing your comments this morning already, and I'll come back. I'll circle around to those near the at the end of the video. We'll come back to your comments because I appreciate the questions you're asking. There's some stories I want to share with you here. First this morning, let's start with South Park and Kristi Noem apparently blasting South Park. The show mocking her. The show mocks everybody. So she was on, was it Glenn Beck? Yeah, Glenn Beck on his podcast yesterday. Here's Kristi Noem on South Park. She said it never ends, but it's so lazy to constantly make fun of women for how they look, she said. It's always the liberals and the extremists who do that. If they wanted to criticize my job, go ahead and do that. But clearly they can't. They just pick something petty like that, she said. So there she is on. So, having watched South Park, I watched the first episode of this season. South Park wasn't funny. Not to me. Wasn't funny. I didn't like it. It was not good. And if they're going to keep going in that direction this season, they'll have lost me. The only reason I mention that is because I gave them some praise that I have found some. I think, the show has been funny at times, but anyway, Noem said she hadn't seen the episode. Yeah, she's busy. Yeah, and that's what she said. Too busy going over budget numbers and stuff, which I would expect. The White House, now Glenn Beck must have asked Kristi Noem about this. I think it's a mistake for the White House to be responding to South Park. Just why respond to South Park? It is what it is. I think fans, they'll love it, whatever, or I have been a fan, as I said, and this new season, the first episode, I wouldn't recommend it. Number of others. As we talk about Trump's economy, I wanted to share some of this. This is Matt Vespa writing over at Town Hall, and he is talking about the legacy media and the jobs report that came out, and Trump response some of this. So Trump, along with Stephen Moore, broke down the numbers showing growth in the country. And I want to share some of these videos. I'm going to expand this because it's pretty wild. These are like 30 seconds to a minute or so a piece. And they really highlight some significant things. So let's start with this one.
That he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. That's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's.
That might not have been an error. That's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
It's incompetence, he said. Whether it's done purposely or not, it's incompetence. And hold on, because it gets even better.
One compares. We finally have the 2024 data on what happened with real family income in the United States. And so what I did was I compared the record in Donald Trump's first term with the Joe Biden first term. And you can see that.
Look at that.
By the way, these dotted lines here, Mr. President, that's COVID. So if it had not been for COVID, these numbers would have been substantially better. But even taking account President Trump's last year in 2020, we saw a $6,400 real after inflation gain in income for the average family. And that compares with Joe Biden, which was
these numbers get better.
So, Mr. President, you gain 10 times more income for the average family than.
And there's some other stuff here too. Let me see if this is the one. It's just fascinating stuff.
You look at them, they're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great, but this chart is pretty amazing right here. All new numbers.
Okay. That's not the one
So
that
we're
I
gonna go
thought.
now over to-
There's another one that I want to.
East room, and we're going to celebrate some very brave people.
Hold on a sec here. Okay. There was another one that was I thought, really showed what's going on. This is the one. Here we go.
These are the numbers just in.
There you go.
I just
This is
showed you
it.
percentage terms.
Hold on. Here we go. I was watching this earlier, so.
From the Census Bureau that shows by income percentage.
By
So
income.
The 25th percentile is the lowest income, 75th percentile is the highest income. What I find fascinating about this, Mr. President, is every income group did better. The red is President Trump, the blue is President Biden. Every single income group did better under President Trump. But what's really amazing is look what happened under Biden. The
Look at
lowest
this.
income group lost income under Biden. They were poor 4 years after Biden's presidency. No gain virtually whatsoever for the middle class. And the rich was the only group that did better under Biden, which is ironic because Biden keeps saying he was trying to get rid of income inequality.
Because he
made
lied.
income inequality worse, not better. It was President Trump that reduced income inequality.
These numbers just came out, by the way.
So there you go. That under Joe Biden, look, I mean, those charts just absolutely mind-blowing as you look at that. That is pretty incredible stuff. My time is wasting already here today. We may run just a little bit longer than usual. And perhaps some of these I am not going to share, I think. Let's forgive me as I'm longtime Biden aide testifies in Republican probe that former president aged on the job but remained fully engaged. This was Anita Dunn. That, yeah, Joe Biden aged on the job, but he remained fully engaged. Yeah, right. Right. Engaged in lowering those numbers as I was just showing. Okay, there was, this is fascinating piece that I want to share with you. Epstein versus Russiagate. And I heard Mark Levin on his show the other day who was talking about, you know, the leftist media in the country. Epstein is the big story. And they're saying that Russiagate is a distraction from that. And Mark Levin said, it's the other way around. Russiagate is the story and Epstein is the distraction. And I totally agree. I think Russiagate is the story. Epstein is just a distraction. And this is a piece, again, at Real Clear Politics, Jay Pedersen saying that it's a tale of two stories. So I just mentioned growing evidence about President Obama and so on. So he said, guess, and then the other, Jeffrey Epstein, guess which story the legacy media is running with? Which one is it trying to bury? The answer is obvious. If only stating that was enough, and we could just laugh away the legacy media's predictable and partisan coverage, they're not serious people. Unfortunately, they're deadly serious in their continuing efforts to malign Trump while covering up their own malfeasance. And it goes on, the contrasting coverage of the Epstein and Russiagate stories is just the latest example of a media that has lost its way. I'd say lost its mind. And then it goes on. So again, you'll find this at Real Clear Politics. Epstein versus Russiagate. It's I thought it was a great commentary. So I'm going to leave that there, though. I had planned to dive into that in a little bit more detail. I want to come back and take a look. By the way, there was one other thing I'll share just really briefly. Mark Levin. I'm a fan of Mark Levin's. Is this for Steve Bannon is planning a run for 2028. I saw this yesterday. Bannon's planning a run. Levin, is this from the Babylon Bee? Laughing my ass off. Okay, there we go. Now, I promised I would come back around to some of your comments here. Brian was, we were talking about it on the show. There was someone getting negative pushback from voicing their opinion on the show. And he said, has that ever happened to any of you? By the way, let me know if that's the case. But then Brian went on to say, I live in a small town. I've been told by several folks that they've heard me on the radio. It's always been positive. My boss is also a fan. Please tell your boss I said big thank you. Please tell him I said thanks. Steer him to this video. And he said he's cool with it also. Steve saying, I've never had negative responses out in the wild, but have had several people tell me they heard me. And then he's referring to a call this morning. He doesn't believe Art was truthful in the conversation. Robert saying, I never received any recognition. You did from me, Robert. What more do you need? I mean, come on, man. So here's the thing, folks. You'd be surprised. I don't even get that much recognition. I don't. And I'm not looking for it. I mean, I'm looking for more and more folks to tune into the radio show, and I hope they find it compelling and that. But when I'm out, if I'm shopping or I'm out or what, I'm not seeking recognition. I'm out to eat or I'm out doing my shopping or, and when folks realize it's me, there are a few who see me and they know me. But when oftentimes it's my laughter when I laugh or I speak and they hear my voice and I can see their head pop around, and then generally sometimes they'll come over. If not, I will kind of maneuver myself into an area closer to them so that hopefully, usually folks say something if they recognize that it's me, but I don't even get recognized that's the beautiful thing about radio. That's why I got into radio. Now, I've gone too long, so I'm going to leave it there for today. I do want to tell you, though, my YouTube subscribers, at the end of the program, I said, okay, we're at 415. I want more YouTube subscribers. We're going to, I want to get 500. From 500, we're going to 600. So those of you who are YouTubers, please follow. In the last few minutes of the program, picked up 5 more subscribers. So I'm going to keep pushing that. And as I've said on the air, even if you don't plan to watch these videos that we're putting up, still, if you're a YouTuber, please subscribe. Very, very much appreciated. So that is a wrap from the bunker today. Special thank you to all of you who have watched this. You made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Some of them I've already mentioned. Kathy, Steve, Robert, Bruce, also there. Denise, I just really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much. I want to wish you a wonderful weekend. I'll see you again on Monday. Until then, I'm underground and gone.